Hail, hail, and welcome to A Celtic World. We are a YouTube channel and podcast that shines a light on the worldwide Celtic support. On this show, we try to give it a little bit of North American side of things, but wherever you are, you're all part of a Celtic world. And what a shit show the Celtic world is right now. So we're just going to try to dive right into it. Before I do anything, I would like to apologize again in advance to my wife and kids if they're listening for any of my language tonight, but it cannot be helped. So first, let's introduce. We got Chris with us as always. Chris, how we doing?
We're
Good
okay.
to see you again. Can't wait to go over the match with you. You were audio only again today, and highlights after.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't miss much watching that live. It was a brutal watch. And then we got tonight from two guys from Kansas City CSC. We got Brad. Brad, can you unmute yourself? And then
Howdy.
Mick, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
Doing good. So let's just jump right into the match. I figure maybe we can go over what happened today. And we've done this in the past on these European games where Celtic just doesn't show up, and we have a good bitch session about it, and then get to introduce our new CSC and hear how you guys started and all that stuff, and try to bring a little bit of positivity at the end. So I'm just gonna throw the lineup up first. I don't know what you think when you saw the lineup, Chris.
Hopeful, I guess is the right word. Bernardo getting the start. I like that. Maeda out wide, Taneki on the other. It's fair assessment, I guess, of what the best starting 11 is. But I mean, what's really the issues? Where somebody needs to step in or step up or whatever. Just the starting lineup itself. I mean, I'm thinking on paper that we should be okay, but that's only half of it.
Yeah, true. Mick, what did you think?
I was actually pretty impressed with it. I thought the re-inclusion of Donovan was a smart move, and I mean, if it was based on form alone, he wouldn't have been out for the Hibs game in the first place. But the sports scientists and all that, they come into play, and it's all about minutes on the field and minutes in the legs. So he had to come out for the Hibs game, and I think that showed, because you get Ralston coming back from injury and not quite up to speed yet, so you take him out, and then you save him for the European game, but then obviously for what now in hindsight? Tierney being in, it looked like a solid back four, honestly. I was happy to see Bernardo coming back in as well, just like Chris was saying. I think Hatate's been off the boil since halfway through, or the last third of last season. He's been given, Brad's probably sick of me shouting in the pub about it. He can't even make a 5-yard pass, in my opinion. And the places that he's been giving the ball away are when we're in our typical horseshoe position around the 18-yard box, trying and camp them in. And Hatate's the one that gives it away, and then they hit us on the break, and we're all trying to ditch backwards. So I was happy to see Bernardo get a start, and honestly, I thought he was probably the only one in the midfield that had pass marks in that first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
and then the front three, I thought that was all right on paper.
Yeah, Brad, how about you?
I like the starting lineup. I agree with Mick about Bernardo coming on. Our midfield didn't do much, and when the subs when Hatate came on in the second half, it just seemed like the midfield looked better. And I don't know if Rio can do a full 90. Just there's not a lot of creativity in the midfield. I think the back's fine. The first goal, Casper blew it. Yeah. But it is what it is.
No, yeah, agreed. I mean, in terms of, I would agree. When I saw the lineup, I was excited about Donovan getting back in, and Bernardo surprised. But we've talked about him in the last few weeks that I felt like he just needed that chance, and I same like you, Mick. I thought he was the best of our midfielders in that first half. So that was good to see, definitely. So I was happy with the lineup. And in terms of the way the game started, I would say the first 15 minutes, we were the heavy press on them. We weren't letting them get, out of midfield and causing turnovers in the final third that a lot of times in years past we would kind of create chances off of that. And that's, I think, what is killed us. It's just a lack of creativity and lack of being able to turn those turnovers into goal scoring opportunities.
Yeah, we just seem to get bossed in the midfield, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, that's I feel like it's been the story every week, and I think we just it's like a broken record. We keep coming back to that.
Mhm.
And I think,
unfortunately, I think it begins and ends with Callum McGregor. He's been
say that.
at the centre of that midfield for however long, and he's starting to show his age. He's starting to show, he's lost a little step, and all of a sudden he's even it seems like a little bit slower in his thought process. And I don't know if it's just that he's running out of ideas because he's running out of options because the guys ahead of him are not giving him options, or if it's a combination of both. But we've been spoiled, and my big worry about him is that for years, we had Lennon, and that rolled right into bringing Scott Brown in, and he was the young guy, and eventually he was the guy that took over the midfield. Callum McGregor came in, and there's always been that sort of overlap, right? So Scott Brown was ready to retire. Callum McGregor stepped into that spot seamlessly. And now there's no succession plan. There's nothing. There's nobody coming through the ranks. We've let all of our young talent go down south to England for bigger money, and we haven't really secured that succession plan for the midfield. And that is really what concerns me. It's not the here and now. It's what's the next 3 to 5 years look like.
Right. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris, how did you see that? Like, say, first 15 minutes.
Yeah, on the audio at least, Simon Donnelly that's what he was saying too. And then once they got their first goal, it just killed us. We didn't have any more of that intensity in the first 15 minutes, and we just got slow, and it's the same thing. It's the horseshoe passing, it's the slack passing, it's setting traps, and then we snare ourselves.
Yeah.
I think overall, my biggest opinion is that there isn't any cohesiveness. Like, the midfield seems to be doing their own thing, and they're not doing it all that well. And the front three, outside of the first 15 minutes, like, where was Maeda? Where was Tanecki? Where was Kalichi up top? Those are the things that, like, if it was cohesive, and that the midfield was talking to the people up front, and they were talking to the back four or whatever, it just seems that we're so disorganized, and we're playing in little silos instead of playing together. And I think that's the thing that's just, and Mick even he absolutely nailed it. Callum McGregor's lost a step, and there's nobody else that's going to step up into that role at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's a real worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maeda looks like Kyogo did when he wanted to leave. Like, that was so evident. Like, more so. Normally, I'm bartending when the match is on, so I don't really get to pay attention, which is a good thing because I'm a nervy guy. But actually watching the match, not having to work, I'm like, what? He just doesn't want to be here.
I think playing him on the right wing too is not helping at all. Like, it's just playing him out of position then too, and a lot of times I think he just doesn't know what. He hasn't played that role in the how many years he's been here for Celtic.
Every now and then he would have switched.
Yeah.
Just for a few minutes at a time, but he's never been consistent in that. And to your point, there, Brad, it is very like Kyogo. And Brendan Rodgers alluded to the fact that he was almost out the door and the sort of mental effect that had on him. But now it looks like they're just keeping him in the game and, like, slotting him into that right wing, like square pegs and round holes, just to keep giving him game time so that he keep his market price up. So that when January rolls around, they can get the maximum dollar amount for him.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't do us any good, and it's certainly not future-proofing us.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I guess moving ahead in the game, the goal, and of course I'm on social media. I think I was on Twitter at the time, and I guess my feed was delayed on Paramount, so I see it pop up that it is 1-0 Braga, and I'm like, how the fuck? What the? How the fuck? It doesn't seem like, and even when the guy lines up for like a 40 yard shot, I'm like, nah, this can't go in. And the way it did go in, it's just embarrassing. Like, and we've been talking about it over the last few weeks. Like, a lot of us want to see Sinisalo, and that just further cemented that in my mind. To go with that, like, Casper, I felt like has been decent on the ball at least, but he had 3 really bad giveaways too in that first 20 minutes or so. But the goal was just horrendous. Chris, did you get how many times did you see the highlights of that?
I just the once. That was enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do? The guy kicks it 40 yards and it swerves the way that it did. Forget it. I mean,
I think he just he just can't move anymore. I don't think he's. How did you see that one, Nick? That's brutal.
So I'll give you a wee bit of perspective. So my wife she watches the games with me, but she's pretty diplomatic when she watches them. Something happens, she's like, "Oh, it's unlucky" or whatever, and I'm screaming at the TV. But even she was like, "What the, is he doing?" It looked like he had concrete in his boots, and it was almost like it caught him by surprise, and he was going to do one of those things to where it's like, a goalkeeper's like overconfident, letting it go over the bar, and then you can see it dips a little bit, but it doesn't Roberto Carlos dip. I mean, it's not like a knuckleball or anything like that. It just kind of dips a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh, hang on," and it just looks like he doesn't know, like he's playing FIFA on the control pad for the first time, and it doesn't care what the controls are. So, and we're just like, what? I was like, what am I watching here? And I'm looking to see. I was the same as you as well. Like, this can't be it. Like, this can't be the goal, because it pops up and you're like, surely not that. That's not it.
Yeah.
So that's about as gently as I could put what my reaction to it was.
Yeah,
that was mine too.
He was set. Like, it looked like he had it, and I mean, it was a little bit of a knuckleball, like a Phil Necro knuckleball, to bring up old baseball analogy. Like, it did do some stuff, but he should have had that.
Yeah.
I mean, the midfield let that guy walk in. Again, go back to the fucking midfield. Like, they let that guy get in that position to put in a loopy shot that the keeper should have stopped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, so to Chris's point earlier, once the goal goes in, the game just totally turns, and Braga is pretty much in control the rest of the first half, has most of the ball. Celtic does nothing, and then I think we had one. No, did we? Yeah, we had the one shot on goal from Tuneki in the first half, like where he cut back in and blasted it right straight at the keeper. I mean, got like heavy on the shot, but like right at the goalie. So, but that's been the story of Celtic, I feel like, all season, just not, and especially in the first half. I feel like we haven't scored in the first half. It's just epidemic for us.
Yeah, our group and our chat is, it's like, this just feels like the COVID year with Lennon.
mm-hmm.
Like,
It's feeling that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's symptomatic of Celtic this season, towards the end of last season, and like we were talking about earlier, during that COVID season, is we come out, especially at home, we're all blood and thunder, and it's press. The counter press is great. We hem them in and we just batter them. With possession and not so much penetration and chances. But see if we don't score that early goal. And I noticed it in the Ange ball era as well. Around the 25-minute mark, because he was such high intensity, our guys would get gassed, especially when they were just new adapting to his system. But this current Celtic team, if they don't score an early goal, the doubt starts to creep in. And you can hear the crowd start to get a little bit impatient. And then slowly but surely that team goes, okay, hang on. We've survived the first 20 minutes of this. They start to come out. And then it's a long ball over the top, or Hatate gives the ball away. And I'm clawing out what's left in the side parts of my hair. And then it starts to go from there, and they start to get braver and braver. And then if it's a halfway decent team, we end up conceding, and then we're chasing the game just like today. The whole game plan goes out the window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And that's go ahead, Chris.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, it just like it deflated us. Like we were not the same team after that first goal went in, and I don't know. I don't know if it's a lack of effort or if it's a lack of tactics. Like I don't know. I don't think there's one thing that I can really pin down and say this is what's causing this, because Mick's exactly right. Like at the 25-minute mark, we would get gassed, and Brendan Rodgers doesn't play ball the same way that Ange Postecoglou played it. And if you're still trying to think of that system, it's not going to work. And it's extremely hard to figure out and pinpoint what the actual problems are, because we could sit here and say that it's always a lack of creativity, but like a long ball over the top, we are terrible at defending that. It's like if we attack, we get burned every time.
And set pieces as well.
Yeah.
We end up giving away a stupid foul on the counter press, and that gives them a free kick, and they launch it, and it either goes out for a corner or they score from the free kick or something like that, goes out for a corner, and then we do something stupid at the corner and concede there. And you can see it coming, especially Maeda. Maeda drives me absolutely up the wall, because as soon as the counter press starts, we lose the ball, and they're going to counter press, and I'm shouting to Maeda, I was like, don't foul him, and then foul, and I'm just like, you can see it coming a mile away. That's their tactics. The guy on Saturday there, Martin Boyle, he can read the Celtic press like a book. He knows when the contact's coming, and as soon as he feels a breeze coming past his left sock, he's going over, and the ref's going to blow for a foul every single time. It's like, if an idiot like me can see that, surely they can go, okay, hey, let's just not go straight in and foul. Let's tone down the press a little bit and just try and get the ball back a little bit more safely. Sure, it might take us an extra couple of seconds, but it's better than, it's like speeding to work. Like you're trying to go 75, 76 to get to work just a couple of minutes early, and you end up getting pulled over by the cops. That's really what's happening there. And then all of a sudden you're 20 minutes late to work. So that's what we're doing, is we're giving them an out, we're taking the pressure off, and we're disrupting the momentum of the game, and it's the same story every week.
Yeah. And that's what I there was comments on social media when that, like I said in the beginning, like came out pressing hard and the press was looking good, and it was like, if we can not get gassed by this press and create something early, but that never happened, and then the goal was deflating that much even more that made them chase it, and the press stopped, and it all just fell apart the rest of that first half. So then I said at halftime, I was like, and I knew it was going to happen. I'm like, a change, like pulling out McGregor and Schmeichel at halftime would be like quite a message. Not that you ever think that would happen, but like, I feel like that would be like a message to everyone. But what does he do? Pulls Colby Donovan out and puts in Srirachi, who I love. I'm becoming more of a fan of Srirachi, other than he's like a yellow card every game, which can get dangerous. And with that, kind of a change in tactics from Brendan, which you don't usually see, kind of going 3 at the back with more wing backs, and Srirachi, I think, kind of more cutting into a little bit into more of a midfield role, it looked like, but which changed the game a little bit. We weren't creating a lot of chances. Brad, how did you see the start of the second half?
Uh, the second half, I thought we'd come out strong. We came out a little bit stronger. We didn't look good till Toddy got on the pitch. This is the way I look at it. Like, it just seemed there was a little bit more there to offer in the midfield, and that's the way I looked at it.
How about you, Mick? How'd you think of the move pulling out Donovan, who I thought played well in the first half? But...
Yeah, and I was looking at how I sort of rated them after the first half, and I gave Bernardo, Donovan, and Konecki pass marks for the first half. I thought those three were decent enough the first half. So I was surprised when they took him out, and then I saw the change in the system, and I'm like, okay, fair play. Maybe Donovan's not quite, adapted to that style of play. Like, you can't put him, maybe he's not like a right centre back, which is basically what a back three is, and maybe he's not sort of attack minded enough to go out at that right sided, part of a 3-5-2. So I was like, okay, we'll see how this plays out. And to Brad's point as well, I actually like the idea of Hatate coming out the start lineup and coming on as an impact player, because I think he can change a game, and I think it's about expectation. When there's a lot of expectation on his shoulders, he tends to struggle there, and he makes stupid mistakes. I feel the same about Yang as well. When Yang will come off the bench, score 2 goals, play a blinder, and then he'll get started the next week and just sort of do nothing. So I like Hatate being an impact player, and I thought it worked well. Like, we pressed them for the first few minutes of that half. We got the goal. I think it was right around the 50-minute mark or something like that. And then, of course, that gets... I'm sure we'll get to that, but that whatever happens there happens. And then after that, it just seems to... It's almost like we're out of ideas again. It's like we've tried this formation thing, which I liked, but we just, again, we come a cropper where we just sort of get up to the same part of attack, and again, we've got no penetration. We're running out of ideas.
Yeah. Oh, I think the only guy who is really creating anything is Konecki. But then there's not a lot happening in terms of I feel like today he was beating his man pretty consistently. Got one good shot off in the second half that the goalie made a great save on. But I don't know what the attack, like putting it into Iheanacho or even Maeda on the other side, that just never seems to even come close to coming off. Like, even after Konecki skins his man on the wing and stuff. I don't know. There's something not right.
It was they sat back and they could read us as soon as they figured out in that first 5-10 minutes, and after the goal, once they figured that out, it was easy for them, because again, we're devoid of ideas, and Konecki's just the plan was, okay, get the ball to him and let him beat his man. But even when he was able to beat his man, there's nobody in the box. We're floating balls over to a guy. We've got that Lager Bielka in there. He must be every bit of 6'4", and we're crossing it into Iheanacho. He's maybe 6 foot or something, but he's not like a tall imposing figure. And you've got Maeda or who else is coming in the back post. They're not going to win those balls.
Right.
It's just we made Lager Bielka look like Franco Baresi did. We really did.
Iheanacho did have a good match, I thought. I mean, he seemed involved. More than some other people.
I would say for him, and we can talk about the goal that probably should have been. I think he's a clinical finisher, which we haven't really had. He missed a few chances over the weekend against Hibs, but so it was basically a giveaway that created the chance. He pops up. The only angle they showed they showed 2 angles on the game. It looks like he went off his head. I said I did see one on somewhere that was very grainy, that it looked like it could have hit his upper arm, but I don't think enough to definitively say you're going to overturn that goal, which I think, and that's my issue with VAR is it's being used to re-officiate a game when I think it should just be clearing up those very obvious errors, and it's never really been used like that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody agrees that, like, where the fuck did you see a handball, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have no idea. Like I have no idea. I've seen, like, I haven't even seen the one where it looks like it could have touched his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
saw.
mean, like, I just, you know, but like, I'm just not surprised. That I guess that's the other thing is that, like, I'm not surprised that happened. But at the same time, like, if that goal, you know, stood, I think that changes the entire complexion of the game for the, you know, the whatever it was, the 30 minutes or whatever that was left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, the whole complexion of the game changes if that goal is allowed.
Agreed.
And you know, I saw some of. I didn't get to see the whole thing because I was actually trying to work today, but
Not me.
I did see a little clip of Brendan Rodgers where, like, they were asking him post match. They're like, "Well, you know, did you get the clarification from UEFA about, you know, the VAR goal?" And he's like, "I'm still waiting for it." But, like, you could tell in just his demeanor when he was, you know, responding to it that, like, he he's going to choose somebody out over it. But, you know, I'm just. Sometimes I just have to throw my hands up and go, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% with you that I don't think that they should re-officiate the game. If you saw a handball and then you have pictures that clearly show that there wasn't a handball, the goal stands. And then we move on to the next thing. But
This.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
This is I enjoy watching the championship because there's no VAR and it makes it feel like football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't stand VAR.
it's just, and we're kind of sounding like whiny Rangers fans about this thing, and I just like just
True.
it is what it was. It happened. We didn't get the call, and you know, fuck off.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like there has to be an angle that we did not see that shows it more conclusively. Like, because there's no rhyme or reason based on what we saw to take that goal away. I mean, that's how I see it. There's got to be an angle. So that would be the thing. Like, if Brendan, I feel like if UEFA has to show Brendan why they chalked it off, or show the club, like, I think in coming days something will come out showing that at least somewhat of a reason why that was.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
You still got to show up and perform on the pitch, regardless of what happens.
No, agree. I just for me, and I have been a soccer referee and I'm a basketball referee, so a lot of times I try to put myself in, like, I'll give a ref's perspective onto, all right, figure out why or how they came to that conclusion. And based on that replay, there are the two replays that we saw. There's no explanation whatsoever for taking that goal away. So
yeah, agreed.
There's got to be another angle or two. Because I mean, I know, like, I've watched. I don't know if you ever watch games on Paramount Plus. Like, halftime, they don't do commentary. They will show, like, highlights with no sound for the whole time. They had, I think it was the Kyrat game. They had a highlight of a goal that was chalked off from about 75 different angles. So that makes you think there's got to be a ton of different angles that are available to them that maybe just didn't get played on the TV. So, but I don't know. That's just how I saw it. But so then moving on. So goal gets taken away. I think Celtic, they kind of upped it a little bit tempo wise, and created a couple chances. I think I said before, Tenecti had another one of those cut back on his right foot. Goalie made a great save. Carter Vickers had one header off of a cross that probably should have done better again, which he's been like that in weeks past. But other than that, like, do you ever feel like Celtic can get a goal, Mick? Especially in that situation.
It is. I keep harking back to the Ange era where, you know, we could be 1-0 down, and it's the 89th minute, and you can still see us scoring 2 goals and winning the game.
Yes.
And with this team, I honestly just don't see it. I don't see that if we don't score again in the first 20 minutes, that we give the other team confidence and we're devoid of ideas. And it isn't like the Ange days where we do run out of puff. It's just that we're figured out by the other team. So Brendan Rodgers is constantly going on about the speed of the ball, the speed in the game. And you can pass the ball at speed all day long. But if the guy that's defending against you knows exactly where the ball's going next and exactly where he needs to be, and all they're doing is just, I don't know if you guys had played British Bulldogs when you were kids at school, but it's like a kid's game. It's almost like a rugby match as well. It's just like the ball goes and the whole line just shifts and they just pass it in front of you. That's really honestly what it's like. For me, it's like watching a rugby match. Is we run forward with the ball, pass it to the side, run out of ideas, back to Carter Vickers, back to Scales, they advance it forward, it goes through to the side. And it's absolutely infuriating. And you never know where a goal's coming from. Like, we got bailed out in the Kilmarnock match with the dodgy penalty. And that's another thing, is looking at the VAR stuff, like, you can tell, like, that's not a penalty, but because it's our team, we'll take it. But if it was against you, you would be absolutely screaming for it. The Kilmarnock game, in my opinion, that wasn't a penalty, but I'll take it all day long. But the fact that we're Celtic and we're sitting back then at the top of the league, playing against Hibs, praying for a penalty or something, a deflection, an own goal, it's absolutely dire. Like, this is a dire state of affairs that this team is in right now. And I don't know what the fix is. I don't know if it's, I think it's a multifaceted thing. You've got the stuff with the board and the fans and the silent protests, and you've got players wanting out the door and now getting their moves. There's Yang and Maida that were supposed to get moves out and all of a sudden get cancelled at the last minute. So you've got guys that are empty jerseys. And you've got a manager who's in his 3rd season, where every manager in the league has seen his tactics and figured it out. They're like, oh, this is episode 73 of the Brendan Rodgers season. We know exactly how this is going to go, and they just lay out the game plan for it. We're so easy to figure out, and I don't know what the way forward is, other than getting some new guys in January, try to refresh the team for the end of the season, and possibly seeing Brendan Rodgers go out the door at the end of the season and just starting again from scratch.
Yeah, I think that might be the answer.
Yeah, it's not all Brendan's fault though. I don't think.
No, I think it's
Mick said it. Like, it's multifaceted.
It's from the
top
board
down. It's the board. The board's pissed off the fans. The fans won't cheer on the team. The team doesn't feel the energy behind them, and it's a mess. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of failures just in turn. And then like you're saying, like with Matt or Yang and Maida, like we keep Dyson because we are running out of wingers, and now I mean, he's, like you said, he's going to be an empty jersey probably till January, and we get rid of him, and we're going to probably get maybe half the fee that we got for him if we tried to sell him in the summer. So it just there's just no like strategy seeming for the club. It's very like just go with the flow kind of like and Ian
to this idea of, you know, get guys in on the cheap, play them a few games in Europe, sell them on after a season and a half and get, you know, 10 times the amount for them. That looks great on paper for, you know, the board and the financial side of it. But as far as the football side, now all it does is disrupt any sort of continuity. And Brendan Rodgers has got to be absolutely just completely bitter towards Celtic. He's come back, he's been promised everything under the sun, and they haven't delivered. Like I said, like Brad was saying, it isn't all on Brendan Rodgers. This is a multifaceted thing, and he's almost like, what am I supposed to do here? Yeah. So it reminds me of the Ronnie Dyla seasons where we talked about the COVID one with Neil Lennon and all that, but the Ronnie Dyla season, Ronnie Dyla won a league and cup double, but in Europe, the football was diabolical, and even in the league, the football was pretty abysmal. And the only thing that saved us is that there wasn't a strong Rangers in the league to push us and to make the board sit up and take notice and go, okay, we're going to have to change things here, otherwise they're going to go past us. And it's the same this year. The only thing that the board's concerned about is just staying half a step ahead of Rangers. And the fact that they're down in 8th place right now, the board's going, we're fine. We'll catch up with Hearts. Hearts will do an Aberdeen, and their form will fall off a cliff, and we'll go ahead. We're not even worried about Rangers. And that's not what us fans want to see. We want to see our team do the best that it possibly can with the tools that it's got, not just be a little bit better than them across the road.
No, 100%.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah. So then Braga gets the goal at the end off of another just Schmeichel makes a decent save right out in front of him, and Murray tries to clear it. It goes right off of the Braga attacker, and it kind of just killed it off. I stopped watching at that point. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to get fired from work for watching this. Probably, I thought about bagging the whole second half.
You should just be listening to it.
I could have watched at my desk, but I went upstairs and watched on my big TV. And I skipped out on the whole.
Same result.
Same
result.
Yeah. So all in all, just another frustrating. Because that team Braga wasn't anything special. We made it look probably a little better than they were, but we're just devoid of, like Mick said, devoid of ideas, I think, in how to create a chance. Just you just never feel like a goal is coming, and especially when you're chasing after being down 1-0. Frustrating day.
For sure.
Any other thoughts on the game, Chris, before we move on?
No. I want to hear about some barbecue and some Kansas City.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So before we do that, let me play our little subscribe clip. 1 second.
Hey mate, you are watching the least boring Celtic YouTube chat show in the world. And it is totally free. Jeez, that's got to be worth a subscribe, eh?
Is that an Australian accent? I don't know about that.
This is water, not moonshine, by the way.
Whatever.
I saw Chris looking there. I was like, I recognize those guys.
I've got some of that somewhere.
I've got some.
Fantastic.
So one of the reasons, I think me and Chris, when we started doing this, what our excitement in doing this podcast was kind of introducing the Celtic supporters clubs in North America. We've only done Americans one so far. I'm working on trying to get Canadian guys, but for you guys, how? So I guess starting off, what year did you guys start? I'm gonna put
2018 is when we started.
Okay.
I bartend. I've been to Celtic matches in Atlanta. I used to live in Durham, North Carolina. So I've been to Celtic matches in Atlanta and Charleston. I don't know if those were supporter groups at the time. And then the bar that I would drink at, I'm going to talk crap on myself. The bar I would drink at was an Arsenal bar, but the one bartender would let me watch Celtic. And so I'd watch Celtic because I've been a fan of them since the mid-90s when they weren't very good. And came back to Kansas City in 2017 and started bartending at this old bar and would plan matches just to kind of get the thing going. And there was a couple of guys, and then it became what it is now. And it's been fun.
That's great.
We've moved to a different bar and it's all good. At least the bar we moved to, your feet don't stick to the floor and you can go to the bathroom and not worry about getting syphilis or something. I still love that bar.
Bullets either.
What's the name of your pub?
We right now we're at the Varsity Club, which is in the,
okay.
Yeah, it's in the yeah. That it's a good spot. The good guys, good young people run it. They're into the football. It's more. I'm sure this is probably with all of our Celtic groups. It's in the United States, it's more EPL based.
Yep.
Yep. People want, Liverpool and Man U and Arsenal and all that kind of stuff. But when these guys opened a year ago, they would come into the bar that I worked at and they go, "Hey, we're going to do the EPL stuff." I'm like, "You're not taking Celtic." And then stuff happened and I moved over there and now we do Celtic matches there and it's a good spot. We pour the best pint of Guinness in the city.
Nice.
100%.
We lost Chris. I don't know what happened to him.
You went away to get some moonshine. I inspired them.
So Mick, how long have you been over in the States then?
So I came over to the States in 2007 and I moved to Texas. I went to college down there and I graduated and then moved back to Europe for a little bit. I was living in Barcelona. I met up with an old school friend of mine, was a big Celtic fan. We used to go watch Celtic games and all that over in Barcelona. And then life circumstances, etc., led me back to the US, to Kansas City. And I honestly had fallen away from the football a wee bit because today, like everything's like you can watch the game on your phone and all that. But back in 2007, it was really difficult to get a hold of the Celtic games. You can maybe look it up on the internet, or maybe you'd get like highlights on YouTube or something like that. So it was difficult to keep up with it. But I come up to Kansas City and I met my now wife, and she came over to Scotland with me and we talked about Celtic and all that. And by then I was actually starting to get a hold of some of the dodgy feeds on what was it, like Sports Hub, sportsfan.hub or whatever, sportshub.fan or whatever it's called.
Firstrowsports.eu.
First Row Sports was another one.
Killthelaptops.com.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you getting all these pop-ups on your laptop and all that? Never mind. But then, so my wife and I went over to Scotland and went to a Celtic game, and honestly, she was hooked with it, and it was her being passionate about Celtic and being involved in everything that got me even more involved in it. Now, everywhere we go, like she travels for conferences for her work, and every time we go to a different city, we try and check out a Celtic pub. So we were going to New Orleans, and we were going to Orlando, and we were going to Vegas, and we were going to San Diego and all that, and checking out all these Celtic pubs. And we got back and we were like, I wonder if there's one in Kansas City. And we looked, and it was like, KC CSC. Johnny, I won't name the name of the bar, but at this bar,
it's all good.
Bar we were at. And we're like, well, let's go down to it. So we go down, and Brad will tell you, the first game that we went to was 6 o'clock in the morning, and we rock up to this part of town, and it was we were
it's a wee dodgy.
it was a dodgy part of town. And I'll tell you what I don't miss about that old pub, Brad, is remember we used to watch the Celtic games. You go in there, it was dark, 5 o'clock in the morning, and if they won the game, we would take a picture outside, and there was all of us in our green and white, our hoops and all that. We had the flag and we had the smokes and all that, and there was always this big bloody red and blue bus sitting next to the curb. It was always every time I'd post a picture and send it back to my old man, he'd be like, "What's with the Rangers bus sitting next to the Celtic pub?"
It's half Royals and half Chiefs.
Right. I try to explain that to him, and he's like, and I tell him that
I'll tell how dodgy that bar was. The reason that bus always sat in front of the window, the bar's got two rooms, and the front room is where the bar is. The reason that bus sits there is so if there's a drive-by, it hits the bus.
Yeah.
And I'm not making this stuff. We had a bullet hole in the front window for a year and a half.
Yeah. I've got a picture of me, like it was the first time we were in your pub, Brad. I've got a picture of me with by the bullet hole. I sent it to my dad, and he's like, "Is that a real bullet hole?" I was like, "That's why they put the Rangers bus out front so it can block the bullets."
Yeah. Hey, at least nobody got hit.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
we have a term here in Kansas City, and it said, "Welcome to Kansas City, duck motherfuckers."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna a little Kansas City stuff here. So you've got Mick and I listed as both in Kansas City, Missouri. He lives in Kansas City, Kansas, and I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, I put the
It's
wrong
fine.
thing on
It
there.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
Hang on,
That-
Brad.
is that-
Where was the bar though?
That was in Kansas. That one's in Kansas.
Yeah.
That was your neighborhood, not mine.
I'm in the dodgy neighborhood.
You do not live in a dodgy neighborhood.
Well, not where I actually live. You know, I'm a little fancy. You know, out
Yeah.
where I am.
Is that Mick? Is that your wife in the comments there?
Oh, I haven't seen it. It is.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lovely lady. Aye, jeez, oh. I can hear her cackling like a bloody witch.
All right. So, in terms of I guess demographics of your club, like how many? I think we talked about it before we came on, but and we talked about it pretty much every time around here. Like a good CSC, you have to have those like religious guys who are there, even if it's like 4 or 5 guys. You get them every week. Like you got yourself a club. What's your guys' turnout for like a first, I guess, 7 or 6 a.m. for you guys, 6 a.m. versus St. Mirren? That's kind of how always.
Me and 2 guys.
Okay.
That'll be Brad and a couple of guys that are left over from the night before.
Still on a cocaine buzz.
trying to turn them into Celtic fans.
No,
That's how you get them.
first hit's free. I would expect this is the way it is over here, because those of us that are from the States that follow football over in Europe and Celtic fans, if you're from the States, you didn't see this on TV till 95, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
Unless you came from over there and came here, it's not a long term. And most Americans are either a Man U fan, Arsenal, Chelsea, like the clubs that make all the headlines.
Yeah.
But it can be 3 guys, it could be 20 guys. Celtic Rangers match, of course, we're 20, 30 deep easily.
Wow.
Yeah,
And we have fun.
We usually do get a good turnout, and every now and then Brad will send out a message going, "Hey, we've got to be a supporters club. It's not just the old, like Celtic Rangers games that you come for, or the old European games that you come out for. It's you've got to show up." So, but it's difficult because again, some of the games are midweek, like the day. There's people still at their work, and it's difficult to. And me, I'm a fireman as well, so I work some Sundays, and I just physically can't make the game. And if it was up to my wife, we'd be there rain, hail or shine every time. But it's life gets in the way, and you try and be understanding. You try and you try and allow for that for some guys, but at the same time, we are a club, so we've got the club together, and we've really got to show up and hold each other accountable for showing up and being part of it.
Yeah, totally. Here, I'll throw a couple pictures up you guys sent me from your club.
Yeah. The blue bus isn't in that one.
The blues, you can see the blue bus.
There it is.
Maybe a bit.
Yeah, the old blue ballistic shield.
These are at the old bar.
Oh, I did have. I don't think I put
There's
the
the
other
wife there, pride of place right in the front.
And I mean, it's like Mick was saying, like families and stuff going on. A lot of these guys keep having babies.
That does make it challenging, though. I know, like when you got little kids, I tried to bring them to the once they were about 2 months old.
The last Celtic Rangers match, Mick and Alyssa brought their wee one, and that baby slept through the whole damn match.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Did you see the match? It was a bloody
Snooze fest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all slept through that one.
Oh God, it's terrible. It's some of the games like these days, especially the Rangers ones. It's like, oh geez, what are we in for the day? And not to get away from Kansas City, but just like what we've what I've noticed with us is that when the expectation is for us to win or dominate, we do poorly. That was the biggest reason I was upset about getting out of the Champions League, is because, well, first of all, like clubs like us, we promote like the Champions League games, and that's a way to get more people down to watch. It's like, oh, you're in, we could have been playing Arsenal or Man City or something like that. So the guys that watch the EPL, all of a sudden they're watching a Celtic game, coincidentally, and then maybe they see how passionate we are about it, and we start to get those guys involved. So that was a real, that was a real sore one as well. But also, when you're in the Champions League, we're not expected to win. I mean, especially when it was the 4-team groups, you'd be lucky if you maybe draw or win one of the games, and you knew that you were in
three
for
points.
a scudding. Yeah, exactly. You knew you were in for a scudding in at least 2 or 3 of the games. So you're just like going out and you're like, oh, well, that's what the expectation is. But Celtic would sometimes show up and surprise you. And then like last year with the change in format, it gave us an opportunity. Nobody gave us a chance, RB Leipzig. Nobody gives us a chance in Atalanta. And we showed up and we defended for our lives. We played them like St. Mirren play us. And we showed up really well. But now that we're in the Europa League, because of that performance that we put in against Kairat, the expectation is that, well, we're a Champions League team dropping down. We're expected to show up. We're expected to make top 8. That was a conversation before we even kicked the ball against Red Star, is we're going to show up and win. And all it does is just heap pressure on the guys. We don't show up, and we have performances like we had tonight. And then when you try to build a club, like we talk about the Celtic Rangers games, and we talk about like the Europa League games, you try to attract guys to the bar to watch stuff like that, and it's like, fucking, what we're doing here,
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't want to come back, and the club struggles to grow after that.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah. Oh, since we're speaking about clubs, I want to put a shout out. We have a person in our club. His name's Chris Toy. He's from Iowa. He comes down 2.5, 3 hours close to Omaha, comes down for matches. He had a stroke this past weekend. He's doing well. But I'd like to give Chris a big shout out.
All the best,
Yeah.
Chris.
Amen.
That's right. Yeah, we think Chris is throwing some comments out there too. So
Is he in the chat?
He's in the chat too. I don't know what's about.
That's that guy.
Yeah. So,
Great guy. Him and his partner Amy come down. Let's say 3 hours back at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, driving all the way down from Iowa.
Yeah.
It's quite a commitment. Like,
that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We've got a very diverse group. I mean, it's half expats, and half people here, from here, and it's a good time.
Is it age, like older guys, or
so
young people too, or
they I don't want to date anybody's age.
I saw young guys like us.
Yeah, there's a few guys that are older than Mick and I. I'm older than that guy, but it goes from people in their 20s to their mid 60s.
Okay.
It's a good spread, a really good spread.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did you guys, any of your group, get to go out to see Celtic last summer? And
yes.
Where did you guys go?
Chris and I went to South Bend at Notre Dame. So Chris, Amy, and then myself and Teresa were up there for that one. I can't think of her name. She was up there too. I think Adam went to Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Yeah. And somebody went to DC. I can't remember.
Alyssa and I went to DC.
Oh, you guys went to DC.
Yeah. We went out to is it Audi Field or something where they play.
Mm-hmm.
And DC was great. They had, I'd say the only thing that was negative about it is where the game was. It's way down by the docks. It's sort of outside of the town.
Yeah,
and to get to it, you've got to go through a few dodgy areas to get to it. But I mean, coming from where we came from, we were just right at home there in Old Town DC. But they had a good few Irish bars up in the main part of town, like around the conference center areas and up by like the National Mall and all that. so you could come for your hotel, you could walk around the monuments and then end that loop straight in the pubs where all the events were and all that. And they put on a really good show. I was really impressed with it, and I hope they do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. What was cool about the thing in South Bend, we were hanging out where they had the fan fest. So like the Chelsea people were way down here and we're over here. We were the Era Persigian entrance or whatever, and they were closing up, and they had a 12-foot banner over one of those metal rails, and the guy goes, "Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "But you can't bring it into the stadium." Well, Teresa, being the amazing woman she was, we had a big plastic bag from buying merch. We folded this huge vinyl sign up, stuck it in the bag. So we've got one of the Celtic, the Celtic 2024 tour of Chicago,
nice.
South Bend,
Wow.
BC.
Magic.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I put it up at the bar on
I
occasion, but
I never
Alright.
even noticed. It's
Alright.
usually 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm still half asleep.
well, until you get a couple pints in you.
Aye, then it's hit the rage button.
Yep.
So me and Chris were in South Bend, and now that you're saying you're there, I feel like I might have met you out in South Bend, but
Yeah, we were
it's
whatever
coming
that
back
pub-
to me.
the pub that was playing the Rebel songs. We were there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Kyogo, Cal McGregor, and James Forrest signing thing?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
Maybe not.
We drove.
We were
up
at the
from,
pub though.
Yeah, we drove up from here and brought our dog, so we were just hanging out with our dog at the Airbnb, and
Yeah.
but so there wasn't a lot of night partying. It was more of the day of the match, and
Hmm.
I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually drove out there from Philadelphia area, so that was quite the drive to get there. But
The
I
actually
drove
Chicago-
there from Tennessee.
the Chicago
Yeah.
boys put on a good party.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We didn't do that. We were in South Bend that night before. I know Chicago guys were doing a party the night before and then taking a bus or something, I think, up from or down
I
from
got-
Chicago.
I got one
Across.
of the Philadelphia Plowboys Rocky Balboa T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Rocky on the
wow.
back of
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
That was like I saw somebody with it. I was like, I've got to get that T-shirt, and I ended up getting one, and I think I spilled Guinness all over it, and it's still I can't get the stain of it. So I can't really wear it. It's now my sort of out the back trimming trees shirt. So.
All right. Well, I know Chris wanted to talk barbecue because he's
Well, I just like I've only been through Kansas City one other time, and I didn't get to stop and eat any barbecue. And as a born and bred Tennessean, I love barbecue. I've living in Georgia for as long as we lived in Georgia, I got hooked on a certain type of barbecue, and I'm always curious anytime that anybody says something about Kansas City, because that's all I've ever heard. So I mean, is it something that is truly prevalent everywhere in Kansas City, or you got favorite spots?
I'm gonna let the import talk first.
Okay.
so my favorite pastime is, I'm a self-confessed troll. My favorite pastime is when anybody brings up anything about Kansas City barbecues. I love to compare it to any other type of barbecue you've ever heard in the world, and say that is better than that's the best barbecue compared to Kansas City. My wife loves barbecue. The guys at the fire station, we often get people bringing us barbecue as like a little thank you for being a hero sort of thing, and I'll be like, it's not as good as that Texas barbecue. That's the number one barbecue, or something obscure is like, oh yeah, Korean barbecue is where it's at. Like, I usually get I can feel my wife's gaze burning into the side of my head.
Yeah. Here's Alyssa's recommendation. I don't know anything about Kansas City.
It's good dog food. That
That's a good one. Being that I bartended in the city for a while, and I moved to KC in '94 and have moved in and out just because of job stuff. But this is my third tour duty, and I say that in all loving way. But if you have 10 people sitting at a bar and they're all from Kansas City, and somebody from out of town comes in and asks them about barbecue, you usually get the same 5 places but in a different order.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
got you.
And
I got you.
I lived in the South, lived in North Carolina, lived in Atlanta for a while, been all over the South. The South is known for their pork. Texas is known for its beef. In Kansas City, we do all the meats. But if you've been here for a while, we don't just go to one place. Well, I feel like I want ribs today, so you go to this place. I think I want burnt end sandwich, so you go to this place. So it's all done. You've got the old classics like Joe Gates and Arthur Bryant's, LC's, like that's the old school stuff. And then there's the new stuff, which slaps, which is over in KCK, is solid. I can't think of the name of the place that's in the bottom of the.
Q39.
I call that tourist. So we're gonna get into a thing. That's tourist barbecue.
Yeah, that's not the stuff I want.
Don't start it, Mick.
I want the real shit.
That's
Oh.
tourist barbecue.
We have the same thing in Philly with cheesesteaks. There's
Yeah.
tourist cheesesteaks, and then there's the locals. The stuff that look-
exactly. You know, the Jones barbecues, like you're not going to get anything bad. You might go to a place and have something bad that time, but you go back the next time and it's the best ever.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, people, I think it's down to 5 that people always talk about, these 5. And I don't want to put myself in harm.
see, Brad can't say anything because he's from here. Be like, how could you say that? I was like, I can say whatever I like.
You know, Kansas City we had the stockyards on the West Bottom, so we're a cow town. Like it's always, we were the beginning of the West. So grilled meats and barbecue is all that thing. And it's like somebody goes, where's the best place to get a steak? I'm like, my fucking grill. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess last thing to talk about, we got Motherwell coming up this weekend away, which could be a tough one. I'll go, Chris, you first. What's your prediction for the weekend, and in terms of, do we throw out a changed lineup? And then I guess, how do you think the game's gonna go?
That's a good question. I got a train. Hang on.
You got a train going? Here, I'll go. We'll skip the you, Mick.
Games at home on Sunday. So games at Celtic Park on Sunday.
Oh, I was right. Did I say what?
Aye. I think it's going to be a tense affair. Motherwell are a decent side. I watched the highlights of them play the other lot. Was it the first game of the season they played them? And they're a good outfit. They're well drilled. They're a strong athletic team, very much like St Mirren, and they won't be afraid to come at us. And I think it'll be the same. I think it'll be, we'll go at them first 10 minutes, but if we don't get an early goal, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, do you think he'll throw out a strong team like this? I guess today, if you think today is the strongest team.
I think you're going to see some rotation, and I mean, on paper, anybody that you throw into that midfield is going to look strong on paper. You could put Hatate back in there, you could put Engels back in there with McGregor sitting right at the pivot point, and you go, that's a strong looking midfield. You take Engels out and you put Nygren in there, you go, that looks like a strong midfield. So I think there'll be changes. I think on paper it's going to look strong. I think Colby Donovan keeps his place at right back. I can see Tierney being rotated out, and perhaps giving Sarachi or Saraki, however you're pronouncing it, a start at left back, and then bringing, either giving Tierney a rest or bringing him on. He looked like he was kind of hurting at the end of that game today.
He did.
And I see some experimentation going. I see up top Ian Archo staying in the middle. I can see Maida coming out and Yang going in, or Forrest going in, and I think he'll keep Tenecti on the left.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Can we see Sinisalo, please?
Yes. You can, but I don't know that you will.
Yeah. I don't think you will. I think it would be a breath of fresh air. But like I say, it's a home game, and Motherwell are no pushover. They're sitting 4th in the league right now. So I think he's going to keep Schmeichel in and put it down to a bad day at the office, a very bad day at the office.
Yeah. Brad, how
deal.
about you? What's your prediction?
Always my prediction, 2-1 Celtic. I say that every time. But it's going to be testy.
Okay.
And I mean, pull Casper. You know.
I feel like it's time, but I agree. I think I agree with Mick and Chris. I don't see Brendan doing it actually, but I think for me, I think it's time. But what do I know?
I just think it's going to be tough all the way around. I mean, if Brendan Rodgers changes, the entire starting 11, I don't know what that looks like and how they're going to play together versus Motherwell. I mean, it's such a big question mark that I don't even know that it's going to be, really, really worth going into, too much losing sleep over or whether or not, Taneki's going to start or whatever, because whoever he's going to roll out there is going to do okay for what it is. But, how they're going to perform, I don't, I just think that everything's a question mark. And it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Definitely. I got one comment to stick up there for Brad.
What's that? Hi, Pops. That's my son.
Is that the one that just get hitched there,
He
Brad?
just got married. Yeah, my youngest got married last weekend.
Congratulations,
man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for coming on, guys. We'll try to get you guys
Great
on
fellas.
later on this season.
And if you're ever coming through, let me know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I'll direct you to the best barbecue around. Just take I-35 south to Texas and find it.
Well, see, like I
Mick, if you weren't bigger than me, I'd whip your ass.
That's good stuff.
All right. Well, hail, boys. I hope we get a big win this weekend.
Chuck,
Talk to you guys soon.
Right.
Cheers.
Cheers.